Welcome to the Three Beards podcast. My name is Craig. Austin, Chris is trying to get in right now, having some internet troubles, but we have our guest with us, Mr. Joe Wilk, MMA fighter. Man, how are you, sir?
Doing good. Oh, is that him?
Good.
Do we get him?
Yep, I think he's coming in. Yep, there he is. There's Chris.
All right.
There he is.
All right. Well, welcome, Chris. So, sir, real quick, what's the name of the gym that you're running right there, sir?
Yeah, I run a combative sports center in Manhattan, Kansas. So we're going on 15 years being open here. We have, for being in the middle of Kansas, people are really usually surprised. But we have 9 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. We've had, put kids in the UFC and Bellator. All the classes are taught by black belts and professional fighters. We got a really good thing going here, man, and just growing like crazy. Just recently expanded to 17,000 square feet. So we got the room and the people, and we're out here just getting it.
Wow. Yeah, I just seeing from behind you. I mean, you got a pretty large space to go there.
Yeah.
So,
we, almost half of it is dedicated to it's like a weight room. It's dedicated to like strength and conditioning. I'm actually standing in it now. And so we have, awesome. I try to make everything under one roof for a fighter. When I was coming up, you trained jiu-jitsu at one gym, went across town to a kickboxing gym, went to like the health club to do your weightlifting, and went to your massage therapist. I have all of that here under one roof. So we really try to provide the opportunity for people to be able to do everything all here at Combat Sports Center.
No, I was looking as you're spinning around. Now, do you have an octagon in there too, or is that not?
So I can just show you. So actually, that's a cool story. So no, we don't have an octagon because what we have is I used to be the Victory Fighting Championships 145 champion, and when Victory got a new cage, so that's it right there. Sorry, it's a little loud over here, but when Victory, one of the cool things about Victory that was really unique is a square cage. And the square cage, since it's no longer a circle, you can literally still corner fighters. And we were so active in the VFC when the owner got a new cage, I bought the old cage off of him and put him in the gym because that was like the majority of where we were all fighting. And I was like, we can get an advantage by having that area to train in that's the same. And so we've just always kept it. I fought in that actual cage multiple times. So it's got like a lot of history for me, like nostalgia. So it's just the cage we use here now. So we got ring cage, mats, bags. I mean, just everything you could need.
That's awesome. That's cool. I mean, it's awesome. Pretty much one stop training thing for you. That's fantastic, man. Congrats on that. That's cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's taken a long time, I used to do so many different things. I ended up in Manhattan to train soldiers out at Fort Riley. I'm a master trainer for the United States Army in combatives, which is their hand-to-hand system they use. And so I got brought in civilian contract to work out at Riley. And then this thing started as a club, like 15 years ago and almost 15 years ago. So it was just something like we had for all of us to train in the evenings and introduce people to it. And it literally since then has just like never stopped growing. We're in our 4th location now. We just keep outgrowing our old location. And instead of like stacking money, I've just constantly reinvested back into my own gym and try to provide like the best training that I can. And I think we finally have a home now. We're downtown. We're like right in the middle of downtown Manhattan. We're branded in this town. People know who we are. And so we're just moving like crazy.
It sounds like you got a terrible problem on your hands. I can't stop growing.
I'm really lucky, man. I'm blessed. I'm like one of those.
That's crazy. We can't stop growing. We have to keep expanding. It's like, God, that's the problem that everybody wants to have. That's right.
That's cool. No, it's good. I don't really ever anticipate being like wealthy, but I also don't work for anybody. I don't answer to anybody, I run the show here, so I do whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want. And that, for me, that's like, I put that above, like a Mercedes or whatever. So
what's everybody's dream? So I can wake up when I want to, I can do when I, that's what people want. I mean, it's just,
yeah, you gotta be careful, man. I got to the point It was really funny. I thought like I just wanted to do the least amount of shit as possible at one point. So it was probably like 5 years ago. I got to the point to the gym where I've trained guys that are black belts and pro fighters. They can teach. So I was literally teaching. I was teaching 4 classes a week. I was literally legitimately working 8 hours a week for like almost a year. Dude, I was being such a piece of shit though. Like nothing. Like I could do whatever I wanted. I could stay up all night and drink and watch movies and do it. I could do anything I wanted. And like that turned out to be not like as cool as I thought it was going to be. Like I'm very hands on, and this at the end of the day, I like being here. I spend a ton of time in the gym. You just got to put it in perspective. Anything can start to seem like a job. I got really good advice from my dad a long time ago. He said, "Be careful because porn stars hit their snooze bar," and that resonated with me. Right, like if like porn stars don't even go to work. You know, sometimes I'm driving to the gym and I'll be like, "Oh man, I got to go to the gym." I'm like, "Shit." I used to wait tables 50 hours a week and cut peppers and onions in the back of the restaurant. And here I am doing the exact thing I love for work. So I'm a lucky man.
Wow. So yeah, that's pretty cool. As you know, kind of back to where was your start?
I like that quote too. The quote was funny.
Mm-hmm. Porn stars hit the snooze bar. Yeah. Now, where'd you get your start at? Was it in Hutch or was it in another town?
It was in Hutchinson. I got really lucky, man. I have a very cliche martial arts story. Like my life turned into like the shit movies that we all watched as kids. And it was just, I got incredibly lucky. I was always a basketball player. So I never wrestled, believe it or not, even though like I work my ass off on my wrestling to this day. And I think it's such an important part of fighting. But I grew up, my group of friends, we were all basketball players. And then, in high school, I was one of those typical kids, man. I started heading the wrong direction. And I was, partying. I thought I was like this, dope dealer. And I thought I was so cool and everything. And then my junior year of high school, we went to the beginning of basketball. And the coaches were like, "What are you doing here? Like, you don't play basketball for us anymore." And I was like, "What?" Like, I didn't think anybody knew that I was like doing all this shit. And it turned out everybody knew. And so they kicked me off the team, cut me off the team. I walked out that day, and I had played basketball like every day of my life up to that point. And so I had the typical like Mountain Dew and McDonald's diet that you have when you're a kid, and like Little Debbie. So like literally I live with my mom, had the cupboards full, whatever the fuck I wanted. And I didn't realize that the only reason that I was staying fit was because I was playing my ass off basketball and off season training and all that stuff. So once I lost that, and really like we're talking about 99, 2000, we came a long way on our concepts just overall of nutrition. People didn't know shit yet back then. And I didn't even realize I was getting fat. And then all of a sudden, I was almost my 18th birthday. And the truth is, I started wondering why I wasn't getting pussy anymore. Like, I was like, what's going on? Like, we used to get chicks. And then I realized, like, it's like, dude, it's because you're fucking fat. And so, like, I was shorter than I am now. I was probably like 5'7", and I was like 210, 215, just all junk weight too.
Yeah.
And so I was like, and then I was also I was being a burnout, man. I was being a loser, I was like skipping school all the time. I actually graduated early, which was their way of kicking me out of high school. Like I had all this going on. And so I decided like, all right, like I'm going to run every day. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go run. I had myself on this plan to lose weight. First day running, legitimately the very first day I ran probably like half a mile and had already stopped and was walking. And I just felt like shit. There's a little fitness gym over there by where my mom used to live. And that's where I was walking right by it. And there was a sign in the window, and the sign said New Martial Arts. Just a white piece of paper with that printed on it, like not a poster or anything. I was like, huh, I've always wanted to do karate. I love Bruce Lee, So like I walk in this place. And it was actually, my first gym was in a racquetball court. So I was above it looking down onto it. And I'm like, well, they're wearing karate uniforms, but they're wrestling. Like, what the hell is going on? I was like, oh, that's like that Gracie shit that I used to see in the UFC. We always used to watch all that. And then the instructor, he saw me up there. He's like, you come on down, like hang out, try it out. I tried out class that day. And then like I literally have never stopped. From then on, I just it was instant. It was fucking instant for me. And I knew right away that I didn't know right away I was going to fight. That wasn't the goal at all. But I knew right away it was going to be like my thing. Like I was going to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was going to learn it. And I literally fucking never once even thought about like looking back or stopping. And I've been on it ever since. 20 years, March 1st.
Now, before we got live, we were talking a little bit about jiu-jitsu, and it's just, for me, just being a white belt, I haven't really had the experience, especially the fighting side. So what is it like through all the training? You've got the gi to grab, you can do all the grabs. So when you actually get into the cage, and now you no longer have that handhold.
Yeah.
So how do you compensate for that?
It's definitely different. Well, I train gi like 3 or 4 times a week. I still train mainly in the gi. I train in the gi more than anything else I do. I always have. I didn't abandon the gi just because I started fighting, but we also train no gi. So in no gi, you learn the grips are definitely different. You have to learn how to control underhooks, wrist control. It's a lot more scrambly. And if you for people who don't know what that is, it's kind of like when it's neutral and both guys are like just trying to control each other and it's very fast. That doesn't really happen in the gi because you're attached the whole time. That's definitely a difference. Just like getting punched and kicked was a difference, like I had to learn how to wrestle. When I first did jiu-jitsu, I used to pull guard. And then, and now like you do not pull guard at my gym. Like you have to learn how to take people down. Like if you want to fight and if you really want to defend yourself, the guard's there if you need it, but you should be able to close the distance with somebody and tackle them if you want to force a ground fight. So that was a big difference. But the truth is, man, the gi, is to be respected. It's to be trained if you want to be as proficient as possible in jiu-jitsu. And that's because you take the new kid that's 215. There's a power lifter and a linebacker in high school, stronger than shit, right? And you throw him in a no-gi class. So someone's using jiu-jitsu, like trying to hold him down, and he'll learn to cheat. He'll learn to be explosive, to use his gifts and not his technique. Now you put that same fucker in a gi, and he's got to learn how to do the moves like everybody else. He's got to learn how to do it correctly. You learn how to do it correctly like that. You learn how to do it by the numbers. You follow the recipe. But then what happens is that same guy, he goes, oh yeah, I forgot. Like now I know all this and I'm explosive and I'm athletic. And then he becomes a killer. But the backwards way doesn't work. Being like the explosive athletic guy and then, but that's your base. It doesn't work. You learn on the fundamental. I teach the same. I teach every single person, everyone that's ever walked through my door. I teach them the exact same way. And my fundamentals are based off Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think it's the most effective, self-defense and martial art in the world by a mile.
Nice. Yeah, that was where I trained. I'm a green belt in. It was a combination MMA, Muay Thai, Kempo. It was just, and Jiu-Jitsu was all mixed in kind of with. So it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. I said I got to start taking about 3 months of jiu-jitsu, and that's what I said. I was just the progress. So I'm trying to find something here in Central Florida because I want to, get into it. Again.
Sure. So that's what's great about nowadays, man, is that that jiu-jitsu is everywhere. I give speeches at the gym to people about. We got 9 Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belts in a little town in Kansas here. When I first started jiu-jitsu, so when I was like 18, 19. I used to travel to Kansas City. There was obviously a bigger group of guys there that trained. So I'd travel from Hutch to Kansas City, and we used to all pool together money, and we'd fly in this guy from Renzo Gracie's gym in New York to do seminars like every other month. And he'd teach us a bunch of stuff, and then we'd like use that to drill and to make ourselves better. That fucker was a purple belt at the time. So that's like how far jiu-jitsu has come in 13 years since then or 15 years since then, is that we were flying in purple belts from New York City and paying him like a bunch of money, and now I've got 9 black belts at one gym here in Kansas. So it's come a long way, man. And I don't see it slowing down. I think it's just going to keep going, man. And it's once people are in it, you're in it. And jiu-jitsu also the rolling, the hard training, you're able to train hard every night as opposed to like boxing or something. And that creates a lot of camaraderie. So a lot of gyms have our gym is very tribal. If one of the kids has a birthday party, people from the gym are there. We did a giant Thanksgiving here at my gym, turkeys and hams, and everybody brought shit. And we had over 100 people running around in here,
Oh, wow.
spending like family time together. And I think that's something that's unique to jiu-jitsu too, because you're sitting on each other's heads and sweating each other's mouths. You're going to get close really quick. So
yeah, I mean, you literally are in the trenches together. I mean, it's just you're there. I mean, that was one thing I really liked. I mean, it was kind of every day. Even the guys that would come in that were the instructors, it's like they would, even then they're like, I learn stuff every day. There's nothing, I don't come in. Yeah, I don't come in and say, I know this. I'm like, no. Every day I expect to learn something new, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Right. No, 100%. I remember I went to Hinzo's gym in New York. I was in New York on vacation, and I broke away from everybody, went to Hinzo Gracie's gym in New York City to go train. And the things they were showing that day were so simple and so mind-blowing that I didn't know this already. Like, it was so easy once I knew it. I was already a black belt. I was on the subway going back, and it was like I was sitting there going, man, am I even a black belt? Like, do I even deserve this? Like, what in the fuck? And then, like, but what you end up finding out is, like, legitimately everybody feels that way and has those moments, and also jiu-jitsu, it's the new stuff is coming out every day, like, people are inventing techniques and situations every day. So there's always a lot to learn, even for guys at the top.
That's cool. That question for Matt just posted it up there. Are you still active, seeking out fights, or are you kind of semi-retired right now because of the business?
So no, I mean, the short answer is I'm fucking fighting. And here's what happened. I was gonna retire. Okay. This is a longer answer than you were probably anticipating, but I just want to explain it because I think, like, my story can help other people too. First of all, like, what I found out is that, as I get older, I'm almost 20 years in and I'm pretty banged up. I've been lucky injury wise throughout my career, but just the overall wear and tear on me, like, I walk around in pain. That's the truth. I've been doing this full time, like I said, 50-ish fights, so like 50 fight camps, training every day, strength and conditioning. Like, I'm beat up. And so I was like, man, it'd probably be really good for me physically, right, to, like, not keep doing this to myself. And I think, that I should retire, focus on business, everything like that. Well, here's the problem is once I lost the life accountability of the next fight, okay, the same type of people it takes to fight, typically, from my experience, we're all kind of shitheads. I mean, like, I consider myself a good person, but I don't have all my shit together. I wouldn't be a professional fighter. You know what I mean? Like, and so once since I was 24, 25-ish, I'd get done with a fight and I'd have, week 2, 3, maybe a month to fuck off, to party, to do whatever. But then the next phone call came and I'm right back on this 8 to 10 weeks or whatever of training all the time, living clean, everything like that. So once I lost that accountability, I didn't realize that, like, I think for someone like me, it's actually healthier for me to get in fist fights. I just take better care of my body. I have something to look forward to. I'm never bored. And when I'm bored, I'll go find trouble. And so, like, for me, just having that, like, anticipation of that next fight to look forward to, for sure, is something I think is something that keeps me safer. So believe it or not, like, I'm sure my mom, she watches all my shit. So Mom, it's actually safer for me to fight. Quit bitching at me. But the other thing that happened, man, straight up, is that it's really hard for me to say no to get paid to fight. I fight. That's what I do. I've done it so much. And so, like, I legitimately, when I retired like probably like a year or two ago, and I meant it. I didn't think I'd ever be one of the guys that just came back. But the very next phone call I got, right, like, I was just like, how much? Like, to do something I do Tuesday and every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday in my gym anyway, like, and it's also what I love to do. So I have a rule now. I'll give them to you. This is what I'm going to live by. If the pay is so good I can't turn it down, I'm going to take it. If it's at some cool destination or a cool show that I've always wanted to fight for, I'm going to take it. And if I feel my dick move in my pants at all, I'm gonna take it. So,
There you go.
when I got this last call, this was about the first bare knuckle fights in Kansas, and I was like, dude, that's fucking me. Like, yes, I'm gonna do it in a heartbeat. Like, to be a part of like fighting history in the state. I represent Kansas. I always have. I rep my state hard, and so I've done a lot of firsts in Kansas. Hey, you offer me to be on the first bare knuckle show in Kansas, it's like I did the same thing I always do. I said yes before we talked about money, which isn't a great negotiating tactic. But I was like, yeah, let's go.
It is for them.
Win, where, who? Let's get it.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's awesome.
Good evening, sir. Yeah, I'm a little late due to internet issues. I got a couple questions. I got one question for you. What was your favorite promotion fighting under? I noticed you fought under Bellator and a couple, just to name a few. What was your favorite promotion as a fight?
Whoa, man. Let's see. That I'm going to give you two, and then I'll explain. My favorite, when it all just comes down to it, is Victory Fighting Championship, based out of Omaha, Nebraska. They have a ton of history. Omaha, they had the UFC 3 champion is from Omaha, and so they started fights like way before everybody, and over in Iowa too. So that was like a really good community. They have an educated crowd. It was tough fuckers. Like if you went through the list of people that have fought in the UFC and Bellator that fought in Victory, you'd have your mind blown. I was trying to pick fights with tough guys. That's what I wanted to do. I'd play like kind of heel. I'd pick fights with guys out of town. I'd show up and play bad guy. I made good money doing it, and to be honest, it was mostly an act, but it made it easy for me to get fights. So I loved Victory. I loved everything about it. The square cage we talked about earlier before you were on, that square cage, it forces action and forces fights. So I went there, I won the title. I'm actually wearing one of the old hoodies right now. So yeah, I ended up becoming a commentator for them. I knew the owner really well. All of that being said, Victory is one of them, but I also love Titan Fighting Championship. So Titan is still around. But it was televised. So I was like, I grew up on pro wrestling, and I'm just like, I'm a whore for a camera. Like that. So when I got the opportunity to fight on television, I was like, I got to jump on that. So I had a few fights for them that were televised. At the time it was HD Net, and now it's something else. I don't even remember. I can't keep all the damn channels straight. Whichever one Mark Cuban owns, but I got to be on television and kind of brand myself and get my name out there. So those two are definitely my favorite.
Did you ever do the Fury entrance on the throne?
What's that?
Did you ever do the entrance like Fury come in on the throne?
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you this. Like, here's the thing that I've seen too many people do that. I saw Prince Nassim Ahmed do that in like the 90s. I do everything I do is original. And, like I was telling you guys, like it's not a secret anymore that, I play a character. I did that to further my career, like this whole Joe the Nose thing, trash talking and rapping and dancing. And, that came from me. That is, obviously that came from me and it's part of me, but it's not who I walk around like every day by any means, like I'm more of like a motivational speaker at my gym. I don't ever talk trash and stuff, but I was trying to make a career out of fighting. I was picking fights, and the best way to do it. And you want to sell tickets? Nothing sells tickets like shit talking. And so like I just got really good at that and tried to promote myself through all that.
Is that where Signing the Canvas came from?
Yeah, I have a lot of little stuff like, that was original. I've never seen anybody do that, but I used to think like, what did the great artists do? Like I'm an artist, and the great artists always sign their masterpieces, So whenever I'd finish somebody, I'd go over and do my autograph on the mat. I've seen a few people do it since, but imitation is the best form of flattery, so it's all good. But I have a lot of little stuff that I do, which I attribute all that to just growing up on really good pro wrestling when I was a kid. So,
yeah, Chris, you had a question?
Yeah, I had wrote down Titan because one of my buddies told me to ask you about Titan. We got a dude named have you ever heard of Martin Smash Brown?
Martin Smash, is he on there currently?
Yeah, he's currently fighting. But I haven't really. I'm no expert at this, but I'm looking at your weight class versus his weight class. You're only nine. You're only like 9 pounds off, 6 pounds off. Your last weigh-in was 149. Correct? You weighed in at 149 on your last bout, and you're like 6 pounds off of his weight, an inch shorter than him. And would you be interested in maybe work that one out?
Yes, dude. Like I told you, especially if it's on Titan. Titan's still a pretty good show. It's under new ownership. They moved out to Florida. It used to be based out of Kansas City. But I'm not selective about my fights. Again, if it's exciting, I'll do it. And if it's going to supplement my income, I have a really another good rule that I think young fighters should follow. I'm talking about money and fighting for money, but I wanted to be clear that I don't save a penny of that money. What I typically do is I spend fight money like I found it laying on the ground. And the reason I do that is because I don't ever want to be one of those guys that's stuck having to fight for money. So I support myself very well outside of fighting. Fighting is supplemental money, and so I blow it. I blow that shit. I go to Vegas or I go on some crazy vacation after every fight. I throw money around like I'm the shit until it's gone, and then I go home and go back to my job. Short answer is I don't know who
Sounds
the
like
hell you're talking about, to be honest. I obviously haven't kept up enough with Titan, so I don't know who he is, but I can guarantee you that I would fight him. that I do know. Big gloves, little gloves.
Hey,
I don't
there
give
you
a
go.
Nice.
that sounds awesome. I mean, you got me smiling. I'm like, but
No, we'll
I'll
have
be
to
there.
get that.
Hey, we'll be there.
No, there's one of the ones I was gonna. There's a couple ones I was gonna ask you. It's like, okay, so April 13th, 2012, you have your title fight where you pick up the belt. But so I was watching that one. Now, myself, I mean, I might have misunderstood, but it looked like you were on the verge of tapping when he had you in that lock because he had it around your neck pretty good. And then there was that brief moment I saw your hand kind of like this, and then finally you were able to reach in and pull his hand down and snake your hand out. So I was wondering, I mean, were you close to tapping at that point, or was that just a brief pause?
See, I remember. I think you might be mixing two fights up.
Maybe I am.
Maybe. Yeah, I think so. Like, there was a fight where, but the answer is no. That I don't think I was close to tapping. To a guillotine choke in particular, because that's my move, and one of the best ways to learn a move is to learn it backwards. If you learn how to defend it, you learn the things that make it effective. So like I have a very effective guillotine defense. But I don't think so. But dude, like baby, shit, crazy things happen in fights all the time. But the victory fight for the title, that was the day after my 30th birthday. That was pretty one-sided. I don't think I was ever I mean, he got a takedown for 1.1 second, but I stuck him with the first punch and he started leaking out of his head. And then I was
that was that one right there because that was the next one I was going to have. Just how hard was it to grapple him at that point? Because I mean, instantly, it's like his shoulders were, just slick.
Yeah, it gets slick, but I'll tell you, man, punches and elbows to people's head and face are like it makes things a lot even. You don't have to be as technical. Like for example, you do jiu-jitsu, you don't have to technically pass the guard because you can just punch a fucker's face until he moves in the wrong way to give you the position you want, right? So it doesn't have to be as technical. So in that fight, like honest to God, that was a rematch. We fought the first time just under 5 rounds. I lost that fight, and but they had a really good game plan. Like I didn't have a scratch on me. I lose that fight, and then I knew once I worked my way back up, like literally, I knew I was going to win that fight. I knew I was going to win that fight, and so I came out, stuck him with the first punch. He started bleeding, and he just looked shook. He looked shook during the weigh-ins. He looked shook during the fight, and I just knew I fucking had his ass. And so once I was on him, I just stayed on him, and we took that belt and got the fuck out.
When you strike fear early, it makes it a lot easier, don't it? When you're already intimidated to your opponent before you touch the mat, it makes it a lot easier.
Bro, I've been on the other side of it. Like I'm not I'm not one of those, like, I do not hide behind my ego. I'm not like, I talk 100% real. I've been on the other side, man. I've been the motherfucker that gets stuck. I was like, oh shit. And like, if you have an internal voice, right? Like you learn this through, everybody has it, but through fighting, man, you'll really learn. If you catch yourself saying, oh shit, to yourself in your head, things are not going good, and you need to fucking turn it around quick. You know, that little inner bitch man will try to talk to you a bunch when you're fighting. So like you're better off like being a shit talker in your head. Like I'll be in a fight and I'll be like, yeah, what's up now, bitch? Yeah, and I'm like, am I saying this or is this just in my head? Like I got that inner voice going.
I might have the dates a little bit wrong. It's like I think it was the late '90s, maybe early 2000s, when Muay Thai really started influencing with the kicks. So going to McGregor Cerrone.
Yeah.
That was one of the first times that shoulder check into the face. And then it was the very next UFC I was watching, and I saw a guy, they were grapple, and he did that. And I'm like, so do you think that's going to be the new thing that's introduced into the everyday fights, that people are going to start doing that shoulder check?
It's funny, man. It's not new at all is the funny thing. Like that's been going around. People have been shoulder bumping for over 10 years. I was doing it in fights as an amateur, and I've been a pro for years and years and years. So I think that people got reminded is what I think happened.
Okay,
I think the main thing that happened is people go, oh yeah, oh shit. And the thing is, man, when you're in really good shape too, like the shoulder and the collarbone, that's all very bony, so like you see it a lot. That was very in the open mat. You see that a lot when people have someone pinned against the cage. They'll come in and bop, bop, give them little shoulder strikes. And yeah, they suck, but dude, we were just talking about this. This is by no means talking shit at all. Like I would never talk shit to Cowboy Cerrone. I have so much respect for him. I've met the guy, super cool, super humble, and a fucking G in our game. But I again, like we were talking about earlier, I felt like he was a little overwhelmed by the moment for that one. I think he could. I think that under different circumstances, I think he could have given a better fight. But man, fighting's crazy on any given night. I've had nights where I shit you not, I've had nights where I step in the cage and they could have put anybody in there and I was going to win, and I knew it. I've had nights where I just had that bulletproof fucking invincibility running through my veins, and I've had nights when I've been sitting in the cage right before a fight starts and I go, my mom's still going to love me if I get my ass whipped. My girl might leave, but my mom will still love me, and like fucking, that's just kind of how it works sometimes.
Oh my God, yeah, that's crazy. Oh yeah, I was like, it's like, congrats. I mean, was that the only time that you had a belt? Was that one, or did you have it another time? It was hard. The bios, like online, they never described titles. They just showed you just that one that I saw.
Oh, yeah. That answers your question, right?
That answers the question. Because it was one of those, until Matt had mentioned you, I really hadn't heard of it. So I looked at it, and like I said, that's the proof right there. It's like, I don't even have to say a word. I'm just going to show the camera to you.
I mean, again, I don't bullshit. Those aren't all mine. So like, I started that trend of hanging belts at the gym, and then the other guy, like the guys coming up from the gym, they wanted to do it too. So I think overall, I've won 10 title belts in mixed martial arts overall, either 9 or 10. I've been hitting the head a lot, and it's been over a lot of years, so I don't know exactly, but
well, congrats.
That's
cool.
Thank you.
We had a question. Not sure if it was already asked. Do you have any other fights in mind right now? You have any other destinations you want to go to?
Yeah, so my one of my best friends as the best man at his wedding is David Caveman Rickles. He's famous from Bellator. He's a Bellator tournament champion, fought for the title twice. And he's on the bare knuckle card with me too. Well, he runs a show down in Wichita, Kansas. Really big show at a casino, really nice. I fought for him a couple times. So yeah, I think I might have a short turnaround. He was asking me about fighting in early May, fighting in mid-March. With the caveat being that bare knuckle, there is a strong chance of broken hands and facial lacerations. So if I can get through that without taking too much damage, then yeah, I think I might just jump right back on in May. I got a call about a fight in September. We'll see, man. Like, again, I'm not going to jump on anything that doesn't excite me at this point. I'm like, if it's exciting or a matchup, I really like, I had my first pro kickboxing fight like about a year ago. And I really enjoyed that. And this bare knuckle boxing thing, this new stuff's exciting to me, and if I got the right offer, the right matchup and stuff for MMA, I'd jump on that too. So I guess the short answer is I'm going to cliche, but I'm going to focus, go one fight at a time. I'm going to focus on this fight I've got coming up, and then I'll jump on the next thing smoking that makes my pants move.
One of our other buddies just posted another question. I'd like to see you fight in Florida. We got to work on seeing if we can get this card together. Maybe we can get you down here.
Yeah, no, I'd absolutely love it, man. You go ahead and you tell them Florida boys and tell Titan. I'm undefeated in Titan. I was supposed to be fighting for a title in Titan. They sold to a company based out of Florida, and I've never heard from them since. I never lost a fight for them. So, yeah, man, no problem. I love Florida. It's sunny. My jiu-jitsu instructor lives in Miami now. Chicks are hot. Pay me to come out there. I'll smack some fucking kid in his teeth, and then we'll go hang out on South.
Yeah, there we go.
That's awesome. That's cool. No, so I was gonna ask you just a couple more things. One, about that bare knuckle. Is that something that's already being promoted yet? So, I mean, is there a link that people can go to watch that? Because obviously that's Central Florida. The chance of us being able to go locally is going to be pretty slim.
Yeah, well, actually, it's on pay-per-view. So the organization we're fighting for is BKFC. It's the big one. It's the one that Artem Lobov, who's Connor's partner, fought Paulie Malignaggi. They're getting up lots of big names. Hector Lombard, who's from Florida, just fought there. I think the last one was in Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
Wasn't the last one last weekend in Miami? I just heard about it.
Yeah. So it's the same show. So it's I'm fighting on pay-per-view, so people can see it literally anywhere. It's like legit pay-per-view, not just like internet pay-per-view or something. You can get it through like your local cable provider. And yeah, it's a really big deal. It's growing big. So yeah, people can check that out. Check out obviously BKFC is the name of the show, and then myself fighting. That card's so fucking dope. They also got Nico Hernandez. So Nico Hernandez is from Wichita, Kansas. He was the bronze medalist at the Olympics in boxing. He's an undefeated pro boxer. So he's like he has no business doing this shit because he's got millions coming to him in boxing, and he fucking just wants to put his balls out there and do it. So in his hometown, and so he's gonna step up and do that shit. And we're all on the same card. It's the first one in Kansas, and we're gonna blow that shit up.
Now, what's your gym site so we can plug that for you as well?
So it's cscmhk.com. So CSC short for Combative Sports Center, and then MHK is kind of the little nickname they've given Manhattan, Kansas. So it's cscmhk.com.
Yeah, we'll make sure we plug that, and then also as that comes up, if I can get, I'll try to find a link too, and we'll also plug it for that bare knuckle. Try to send some people your way to show you some support that way from us as well.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. I got a lot of love out here in the Midwest, but I definitely like to start to gain more of a following in all areas, and definitely would love to come to Florida, fight, and like I said, dude, that'd be a free trip to come see my instructor and go down to Miami and spend some time. So you don't got to twist my arm. You guys talk to whoever you know. You tell your people to call my people. I'm going to fucking jump kick some dude in his fucking face, and then I'm going to drink mojito.
I like that.
Hey, as long as we get somebody to wear that 3B logo, somewhere on there to kind of just throw it in there. It's like, we'll do our best to see this thing get lined up. Because other than that,
get me a fight. Get me that fight, and I'll put that shit on my shit. You can bet.
All right. Well, we'll see what we can do about helping get this lined up. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Well, Joe, it's been a pleasure, sir. I mean, I really appreciate you coming on. I said, if you know anybody that wants to come on, just kind of get their name out. Like I said, we are more than happy to interview them because we're kind we're fairly new. We just started in the end of August, beginning of September. And we've had Martin Brown, Jeremy Davis, and now you. So we've had 3 MMA, and we're kind of finding that we actually enjoy this part. We mostly do on Sunday sports. We'll do college football, and then we're like, okay, what do we do outside of college football? Well, MMA seems to be a big passion of ours, and so we're like, well, there we go. That's something that's year round. Now we have something we can do when college football's not in session as well.
Sure, man. Yeah, dude. I'm 20 years in, like I said, so I know everybody, man. I can get you guys. I can get you guys some big names and shit too. Try to help out, and I appreciate you guys having me on. Anything I can do, I support those that support the nose. So whatever I can do for you guys, I got you.
You got it, sir. You've got 3 fans that I know of now. For sure. There's
Right.
4. There's 4 of us in the sound.
Yeah.
There's 4 of us that are going to be rooting also for some talent over there in Kansas.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, and check that out on pay-per-view. Like, I swear to you this, man, like I can never promise that I'm going to win, but I do promise you that I am going to find a guy that's in the same ring that's not wearing a shirt, and I'm going to try to kill him with my bare hands. And if the ref does his job, he'll stop me. So that's what's going down.
There we go. Awesome, sir. Well, thank you so much again. Appreciate it. You have a great night. Let's get back to getting the gym and another belt to hang off that rafter.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. You have a good one. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right.
I think we're back.
We're
Yeah,
back.
something happened.
There we go.
Yeah, we ended up disconnected there. I'm not sure what happened. So yeah,
MMA guys are fun to talk to, man. They're good. They're good interviews. It just seems they're more lively. It seems like I don't know what it is, man. We interviewed a bunch of UCF guys, and it's like the MMA guys have a lot more spunk and a lot more. They're fun to talk to, as you can see between him and Martin, man.
We had dick riders. We had punch a bitch in the teeth and get back to South Beach. I mean, so we done heard it all. I mean, they say kick some kid in the mouth and
he said the same exact thing Martin did. Hey, can I cuss? Yeah, man, go ahead. Oh man, here we go. It's gonna be.
Well, I think it's because they're used to the interview thing where they have to moderate it, because when you're being interviewed on some other channels, you can't, because you're gonna get censored. So,
come on, man.
So that's the only thing I could think of, because it's like, is it okay to swear? I'm like,
you gotta get him to Central
Florida.
Whatever. Sound like if the bag's right, he's coming to Central Florida.
So we gotta get him with Jeremy or Martin, see what we can do about getting him, who we need to line him up with to get something here. Because, I mean, that would be, like I say, I hate to pit, family of Three Beards podcast against family of Three Beards podcast to get it.
They want to do it, though.
What do we do? Punch? Yeah. Punch? Yeah. We're rooting on both, it's just, I go, feels kind of bad rooting for both men in the octagon, but it's at the same time,
they want to do it.
They're looking for a good competition. And if we could line up something that's going to get them some money to blow on a South Florida beach, then hey, there we go.
If I'm not wrong, Kansas City is the show me state, right? Kansas is the show me state. So hey, might better lock this one in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be cool. That's what I'm hoping for. So, hopefully people are still with us from there. We got a little disconnected there, but so. We're sponsors twice for that then. Broad's Beard Care. Yeah, over at Kelly Brott, broadsbeardcare.com. Beard oil is working really well. I said, ever since I've done it, it's been real manageable. Love the smell of the blends that he has. Check him out at broadsbeardcare.com. Use our code 3beards with a capital B, and you get 20% off, free shipping. Nanny Cakes. And Nancy Burke, give her a call at 407, I want to say 923, am I correct? Austin's frozen.
923-2898.
There you go.
She's on a cruise right now, but leave her a message. So, sorry.
She'll get back with you.
Yeah, it's 407-923-2898. She's on a cruise, so leave her a message. She'll get right back to you next week. So.
Yeah, so we get back to there. Follow us threebeardspodcast.com. Check us out YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We have a page and a group. Like, share both those, please. Get your friends there. Just because you see us, your friends aren't. So if you could share us, we would be most grateful. Get our name out there. So thanks again for everybody for watching. And we appreciate everybody. Like I said, hopefully, Matt, thank you so much for getting that interview. It was a great interview. We hope to see everybody on Wednesday. And everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you then.